I'm forgetting something this morning. I don't know what it is. I thought it was going to be cold out. The phone said it was going to be cold out. It said it was 54 degrees. It's like 60. Not that cold. My jacket is unnecessary. Unnecessary jackets. That'd be a good name for a band. Good morning. It's Thursday. Okay. This is to show you how, if you've been watching consistently, how crazy my brain really is. I'm bored. I'm bored already. I'm working to clear things off my plate. I still haven't finished Chris's video. I haven't touched caffeine because I feel like I'm obligated to finish Chris's video before I start working on caffeine. And I'm bored. The bug bit earlier this week. I was thinking about it. I had notes. I had most of the script written. I finished it last night, episode 39 of Webcams. Complete 180 from what we have been doing. It's a little bit talking heads, it's a little bit tube talking. It's just condensed. It's different. So this morning, I'm thinking, well, I don't have anything to do. I'm thinking I'm bored. And yesterday all day was kind of just a boring day for me. And, to touch on the Sogo stuff, I haven't checked yet today, and I could be surprised, but, my hunch is that there probably aren't any video responses for Trip, which is kind of expected. It's not that in his last video he didn't talk about anything worthy of a video response, because there was, and I think that there are people out there that want to engage in the video responses. But I think the premise that we're establishing with Busted Stuff, where we're talking about things that are broken and the opportunity to be different and grow something new, where Trip takes the lead, then you sound off as in a video response, then we take all those video responses and craft something out of that, and then Trip starts Trip wraps it all up. That premise, that formula, that structure, I think, is lost within the Sogo channel. And as everything else has been dumped onto that channel, our premise, our structure, struggled in the past 2 weeks to stand firm, to hold on, and probably this week was swept away. That's my assumption. And I think time will continue to tell. I mean, it's hard to look at this and see how productive and successful our first few weeks were with our ideas, and then to see it taper off completely and not point the finger at the environment that it exists within. And it would be, it certainly would have been an interesting idea, and I think, to build it exclusively somewhere, to build it in parody, simultaneously, somewhere else, while it was running on Sogo, and just see what happens, see if there was see if it actually could thrive better in a more contained environment. It would have been interesting, and a good way to firmly point the finger at the content dump that is Sogo Media. But we didn't do that, and now all we can do is hypothesize. And unfortunately, part of that hypothesization is that I could be wrong. I could very well be wrong. And it could be that even if it was independent, it would have tapered off. But I just, you look at those video responses from the first 2 rounds of video responses, and how do we not have a third? How do we not have a third round? How does that not happen? Content dump. That's why. My opinion. Because I'm seeing it for everything else. Not that everything else deserves the kind of views. I mean, it's certain thing. I don't want to spend the entire video talking about Sogo. Not again. That's just dumb. But the good news is that if the interaction isn't there, that will definitely prompt Trip to take action, do something, pull it, move it somewhere else, because he needs the interaction in order for busted stuff to work. Yeah. So, I hate when bikers ride on the road. Like, if there's a lot of people on the sidewalk and you need to jump onto the road to get around them or be courteous to the walkers, I respect that. But if you're permanently riding on the road like this schmuck over here, I just think it's wrong. You can't keep up with traffic, right? You're slowing traffic down, you're a hindrance to traffic, and you are putting yourself at serious risk. I hate when bikes share the road. So yes, I was bored yesterday, and by the end of the day, late last night, I finished a first draft, I guess, of 39, and I did a quick outline of episode 40 for webcams, and it was, I guess part of me is going back, part of me is doing exactly what I said I do, approach us more from a producer point of view. What will work, and what will be exciting. And then, I guess I'm hoping that, and I think it's there, I'm hoping that the artistic integrity kind of just, okay, well, here's the structure, the artistic integrity will conform to the structure that I'm creating. I think I hear noises, although I don't know if they're important noises. Text message 2. I know one's from Brandon last night. One's from Sam here. The most offensive Christmas card front ever. I don't get it. Okay. Santa Claus handing a Tin Man to a little boy, and here's a gift just for you. I don't get it. So, the structure that I'm going back to, what really excites me about scripting shows for YouTube is television. I like that was the front, so I think she just sent me the back, so that should probably be the punchline and explain the joke. I do like the format of television, and that's why I started doing this in the first place. So, not that this was the first intention in putting on the producer hat and coming up with a new structure for webcams, but ultimately, if I apply, that's the point. Apply a more of a episodic television episodic structure, overarching storylines, story arcs to the episodes, and it'll be a much more fulfilling it'll be a more fulfilling process to produce, to watch, that whole whiz-bang idea. And I guess part of it is also that, as I just started beginning this outlining process, and it's not even very intentional. I'm bored, so I'm doing something. I'm writing. I want webcams to have a fulfilling future, and I want to have a fulfilling future with webcams. So as I'm doing it, I'm seeing, things that barely even exist anymore. I know YouTube Rejects, Talking Heads YouTube Rejects still exists, and that's on Victor's channel. You can find it in playlist form on my channel or on horborong.com, I believe. But the other one we did after that was the Christopher Mast story, and Christopher Mast pulled all those from his channel. I'm sure I know I have them archived somewhere. It's just that, they don't exist. They're online. They don't exist anymore. So I'm seeing those themes, and I'm seeing, and I guess I've had that thought before. But if I just wrote in these mini storylines, these what's the word? It's not a show. It's a mini-series. if I treat episode arcs as mini-series, that could certainly be and that was like, what if Chick-fil-A was 3 or 4 episodes, and it was that heavy message combined with rank silliness, and you just combine those and spread it out over 4 episodes, multiple scenes, that kind of thing. If there was more of a narrative in that process to facilitate the silliness and the scenes, and what would that episode have looked like? And I think that's a fun idea. So, a fun idea to hang my hat on. So that's a little bit how I'm approaching these new episodes. And I'm wondering, because I've got this next episode, I actually have a shit ton of notes, of just creative notes, of silly creative stuff from the Crumbination Facebook page from months ago that doesn't have any bearing on anything, but it's just raw brainstorm material. And I've known that this is good material for something, but I didn't know what. So I think that's going to be, I'm going to start using part of that as episode 40, for the yang to the narrative yin. And again, maybe that's part of the formula as well. Like I just said, you have some sort of dramatic move forward, something, that artistic integrity of something meaningful. Chick-fil-A, advertisers killing television. In this case, credit where credit is due, and the creative process, really. The opposite to all of that will just be sheer silliness. And what happens when you kind of throw all these people together to get something done, and what usually results in it, in spite of your best efforts to try to be productive. And then the more I thought about that, the more I thought, actually that's probably a decent premise for webcams. The core premise is right there in the title. And this is what I was really thinking about this morning. The core premise of webcams is people talking to each other over webcams. What more do you need? But if I'm wearing my producer hat and I'm being critical about it, you need a hell of a lot more, because that's not a pitch. That doesn't, that might get me excited about a very core premise, but that doesn't get me excited about episode 2, 3, and 4. That'll get me excited about the first episode, but nothing after that, because how sustainable is that idea? And I've seen that now over the course of 38 episodes. So I just, again, look back. Where did we come from? Talking Heads, Tube Talking. And, I've always known, we can go personal and characterize the players, the actors that are coming on board to participate. And I know the people I can rely on to be involved with these shows. So if I start writing storylines around that, but what are the storylines? What are those things about? Okay, well, it's people talking to each other over webcams. Throw that away, because that's right there in the title. Webcams, obviously. Exactly what we do. Except I want to take the internal process, because it all happens on my end, and put it and share it and share it in a dramatized way that allows people to appreciate what goes into this process. And I think that's the new premise. I don't know how good a premise that is just yet, but the premise is people trying to create collaborative videos. And I kind of stumbled on that when I started doing the notes for episode 40. And so in episode 39, Eric comes back. He's all excited about Tube Talking, and Crumbine's all like, I do not have time. Crumbine, I'm all like, I do not have time. So in episode 40, the idea is, okay, well, let's give him time. And these are supposed to be collaborative projects. So let's get so Eric assumes this role of leadership and tries to start developing content and developing new ideas, and it's not as simple, and that's a message I do want to get across. It's not as simple. If to go in front of, to get a bunch of people in a chat room and say, all right, let's come up with the next episode of Webcams, it might be able to work that way, but it hasn't for me. So that's what I want to explore. I think that and then from there, the different ideas that they'll try to get off the ground. And I think it'd be great. I've got this webcomic that never happened called The NewTuber. So what if I give that to them, and what if we start kind of developing ideas within the show for the sake of the show? So webcomics, and what if part of, there's a whole storyline about me not being able to participate in anything because I'm too busy trying to edit a feature film, and this whole thing can be about the idea of the feature film that's written, shot, and produced by one person. And there I think there's more opportunity when you say, okay, it's not just people talking on webcams, but people talking on webcams trying to be collaborative, trying to be creatively collaborative, trying to creatively collaborate, or trying to collaborate on creative projects, people on webcams trying to collaborate on creative projects. And then it's just this, then you start with that world of opportunity in webcams, but then you can narrow that focus into, some interesting storylines, and then hopefully, again, that's something I can hang my hat on, and a structure that facilitates itself, is sustainable, and then in addition because of the content, artistically rewarding, as I'm thinking more and more about artistic integrity. So yes, those are the very broad strokes. Actually, not that broad, but those are the thoughts this morning. Those are the noodles. Today's gonna be a good day, because I think I need it. I get to go. We have this. Yesterday, I was supposed to go up to the new Audi store yesterday to shoot new B-roll. They want a 100% in-house commercial for the new store to really push the message, hey, the store moved and the name has changed. So it's going to be a lot of B-roll, but it'll be self-shot B-roll, and I need some original music. I don't know if I'll work with stuff that I've already written, or if I have time to write something, compose something fresh. But I was supposed to go up to the store yesterday and shoot the footage. It was overcast and dark pretty much all day. So today, that's where I'm going. That's what I'm doing. And I have 1 or 2 other commercials that need to be done ASAP. Well, close to ASAP. It's getting to that time. But yesterday we didn't have any email access. It had gone down the night before, and a lot of people were complaining, and I don't know what they were complaining about. I don't want work email. Life would be great if we didn't have work email. I also finally dug up my Steadicam, which I've jury-rigged to work with the GoPro here. So I'm just going to go to the Audi store today and play. I'm actually looking forward to it. Hopefully it doesn't heat up too much. And they've moved in. Hopefully it looks really nice. There's no construction or anything I have to worry about. And I'm just going to take a lot of photos and videos and play and just see what I can come up with. And I'm looking forward to that. And at some point, I'm just going to hunker down. I promise, Chris, I'm going to hunker down and get your fucking video done. Because I need to get back into the swing of things with caffeine, because I'm at a teetering point. I'm at a teetering point where if I don't start it now, I might fall out of love with it and not worry about it for a while. Oh, and Religiously Roasted is done. I think I'm probably going to be getting flack about one of the characters in the story, but that's okay, because it's done. It's done. I fixed it based on I did tweak her based on notes that I got from Sam and Trip, and I'm happy with it. The message that I wanted to get across gets across very boldly. But I think people will have issues with that message for her. But the thing is, the story's not about her. She is a very small part of the story. And as I was actually finishing it, I was like, I don't even want to spend time on this character, because I don't want to deal with this character, because I don't want to make these changes to this character, because she's not part of the story. She's not the focus of the story. But I also feel like if I didn't do it, and I'm worried like 2 months, 6 months from now, I'll be like, why didn't I just take the time to make sure she was perfect? That storyline was perfect. But I'd rather, at this point, close the book on it and be done with it and move on. So it's available on Amazon. I'm not really kind of pushing it yet. I'm waiting for it to syndicate out to iTunes and Barnes & Noble before I get too link happy. So too eager with too quick with the self-promote button. So but it is available on Amazon. It's going to be cheaper elsewhere because of the Amazon tax. Yeah. And if you're going to read it, and I would certainly hope that you review it, please leave reviews, or if you get it from Amazon, leave the reviews on Barnes & Noble and iTunes. I really, 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 Barnes & Noble is probably the most beneficial book distributor to me. So your reviews on Barnes & Noble are much more helpful to me than on Amazon Amazon almost, and I could be wrong, and I might change my tune, but where I'm at right now, Amazon is where my independent books go to die. Yeah. Okay, stay tuned, stay creative.